Truth be told, I wasn't expecting myself to enjoy this show as much as I do. But I do. I think it's not just surprisingly good, but great. Especially for a comic book show that isn't even based on a comic. It is a spin-off show of a show that's based on a comic. Gen V is a completely new concept. That in the world of The Boys. Obviously, this isn't a completely new concept as it has been done before, but for this universe in particularly, it is brand new. And with the first 3 episodes being out, I thought I would review them. That as all together, as I won't be able to be making videos for each episode, so I decided to make one on the first 3 altogether because I like having time to myself and not having to make videos every single second of my life. Which, don't get me wrong, I love making videos, but sometimes you have to cut corners, and this is definitely a place where I can. So I hope you understand as to why that this is one video and not 3 separate videos. Also, something that I loved about the show off the bat was its strong connection it has with The Boys, including an opening scene with a flashback to A-Train joining the Seven, with Also Madelyn Stillwell appearing for a brief cameo. It was nice to see her again because I do miss her. Even though she was a total bitch, I did like the character. What can I say? I love to hate the villains. We also get cameos from other characters like Victoria, The Deep, and Ashley. Although I don't even know if you can call Ashley's role a cameo because technically she has a bigger role than that, so I guess it's more like a extended cameo. We also know that Soldier Boy will appear later on in the season. There are also references to Homelander killing a civilian at the protest, which happened in Season 3 of The Boys, which isn't really developed in this show, which makes sense because they want to save that for Season 4 of The Boys. Although, if I'm being honest, I think The Boys very much could be its own universe. This show definitely proved to me that the idea of The Boys being a single show isn't just the only way to do The Boys. Not saying, like, separate the characters, but perhaps have more spin-offs. For example, Queen Maeve left the show, maybe we could have a spin-off of her. A spin-off of showing Homelander's childhood. Maybe a spin-off about Payback back in the day. I'm not entirely sure, but I do think that there is a lot of potential in spin-offs for The Boys, and Gen V very much proves that it can work. This show's lead is Marie, a blood-bending college student who accidentally killed her mom and dad in front of her own sister. That was because her powers first kicked in when she had her period. Her powers aren't just visually stunning, but also just how the character is presented. That being her personality is also, in my opinion, very bold. She really does feel like a young adult trying to adjust to life, but with, of course, added addition of superpowers, and some trauma. Well, more trauma than most people have. And I felt really bad for the character who's put in a position where she either has to be a superhero or be a prisoner. And that's not even the worst of her concerns. Her biggest concern is her sister. And I do like her whole mother-daughter type of relationship she has with this Vought lady, whose name, I will be honest, I don't remember at the time of this recording. Oh, I just looked it up. It's Indira Shetty. She's also a great character. I hope we get to see more of her as well. I also like that Marie shows that she has actual superhero agency, even if she made some really, really bad calls. And I do like that she admitted to them, that she very much owned the fact that she made a mistake, but she was still making it. I thought it made her come across like a very real person, and you're still sympathetic with the character even if she is making a bad choice. And I really like the idea of the fact that she has to hurt herself. Okay, I don't like the idea, but I like the concept of it that she has to hurt herself in order to use her powers. Not saying that it's a good thing, which they very much make it obvious that it is not, and her roommate Emma even calls her out on it. I just like the concept of the fact that she has to hurt herself for her powers to work. In order to see that, I think that you, however, have to admit it, which they do in the first 3 episodes, but very briefly. I do think they should develop that more, maybe as a thing that she likes pain or something like that. As well as have the character maybe come to the idea that she could use her powers in a different manner, other than hurting herself. Like, she did save that lady without doing anything to herself. She just saved her by keeping the blood within her throat. I really like Marie, and I hope she returns in The Boys Season 4. I mean, hey, if Ashley, The Deep, and etc. can cameo on this show, why can't Marie and other characters cameo on the other show, The Boys? Well, she was actually kind of mentioned in The Boys Season 3 at the adoption place, but it was merely just an Easter egg to what was to come with the character. Although I will admit, I think the comparison between her and Starlight is a little odd to me. I mean, I guess I kind of see it, but I think the comparison would be better if it was between her and Maeve. That being because both characters actually spread the lies that they were being told, even though they both knew that they shouldn't, and they will likely, hopefully, both come to terms with no longer doing that. With Maeve or having to do just that, well, hopefully Marie does the same, and just stops spreading the BS a lot. We also are introduced to Marie's preppy roommate, Emma, who has Ant-Man-like powers, who was involved in probably the most graphic scene I've ever seen in a TV show, where she was dancing on a man's penis. The character also has a very big focused plot about how the character feels about having to hurt herself to use her powers. It tries to have a bit of a commentary on the idea of women feeling that they need to look the way men want them to. However, I think the commentary is a little problematic with this character. I could see some being offended by the fact that the character is actually doing this in order for herself, and that they seem to try to depict this idea of her hurting herself in a better light, or at least that she sees it in a better light, and that everybody else are just a-holes for thinking that it isn't. If I'm being honest, I'm on Marie's side about it, that she does need some comfort. Although I like that Emma did call her out on the fact that she also cuts herself to use her powers, which I think both are very problematic to have with abilities. And I did like the more realistic take on social media, because a lot of the time, when it comes down to social media, they like to display it as being very much just pure evil, like just pure evil, just black and white. But this commentary does use it, in my opinion, a much more realistic interpretation. That is because she has a YouTube channel, and someone else has a YouTube channel who exposes her. And we also see that she has hate comments, and that she also has fans, but there are people that also go against her. Criticizes her appearance and power set and etc. It's very realistic, that it's not just black and white, and instead there are definitely just gray areas on social media. Yes, there are black and white parts of social media as well. I'm not saying there isn't. But it's far more realistic to show that there are positives and negatives of it. And some things are just in the middle, gray. We also have Golden Boy, who is meant to be the jock of the school but seems to have something else going on. That being that he has a brother named Sam, which is also my name. I at first thought that Golden Boy was actually going to be a bigger character. He was not. He got killed off at the end of the first episode. Which, if I'm being honest, I'm kind of sad about, because I thought he was a pretty interesting character. Although he does return on flashbacks and also appears as video footage sent to his friend. The character also seems to be in a bit of a polyamorous relationship. Maybe because him and his girlfriend Kate both flirt with Marie. And they do it in front of each other, so it doesn't seem like either one of them minds the idea of one another being with somebody else. And then there's also other lines involving him saying that he loves Andre, which might just be friendship, which it probably is. But from episode 3, there is a line that feels like it's implying something that I'm not going to repeat because I don't want to get yelled at by YouTube. But it's something very inappropriate. Maybe it was not intended to be taken that way, but it does feel kind of like that. The character is said to return in more flashbacks throughout the season, although I kind of feel like they shouldn't have killed him off so fast. But yet again, it was important for the character to actually die for the plot itself, so I do understand why they killed him off. Next, I want to talk about Andre, who I thought was a very charming but also very irresponsible young man, just like most 18-year-old dudes, which I would know because I am one of them. He nearly killed a girl because he was trying to flirt with a girl. Not the same girl. Does that make that better or worse? Probably no difference. But I did like that he had remorse after doing it, as well as soon as his friend died, aka Luke, aka Golden Boy, he was shown to be more mature, taking initiative as into finding out what the hell was going on. Also, I'm not how Luke would feel if he found out after dying that his best friend would have sex with his girlfriend. That was the one part, other than him nearly killing the girl, that I thought Andre was a little immature. Although, I will say this, I do think it does make sense because they were both mourning, and it was kind of just very sad sex. Although I have to say, if they actually end up together and Sam comes out of the frickin' woods and finds out that they're together, I am curious if Sam will get angry because he knew that Kate was dating his brother, who is now dead. Speaking about Kate, I didn't really think the character was going to be as nice as she was. When she was first introduced, I thought that she was going to be like the mean girl of this show, but she really wasn't. She was actually a pretty nice person, even if she was shown to be pretty excessive with her powers. But I did like the fact that she was afraid of using them. She didn't get to do all that much in the first 3 episodes other than have sex with Andre and more about Luke, but we did learn the fact that she accidentally killed her brother, or possibly killed her brother by telling him to go in the woods, and she just happened to have her powers kick in that moment. And I do like her friendship with Marie, although I am a little confused. Was she trying to hit on Marie that in the first episode? Because it really felt like that was what she was doing. Her and her boyfriend Luke were both, in my opinion, very flirty towards this new girl at the school. Well, I guess that's before Luke tried to kill her, but still. The last character I wanted to highlight is Jordan, who is a gender-fluid character, which is probably one of the best representation of a gender-fluid character I've ever seen. I really felt bad for how they were being overlooked when they were the one who took down Golden Boy. Well, hold him off, technically, didn't really take him down. Although that was a really cool fight scene, by the way. But either way, they were being overlooked because of the fact they used they, them, he, him, she, her pronouns. And the character wasn't just their gender identity. They very much were a character. Yet felt as if they were either being treated as less than everybody else or being tokenized by Vought. And it showed that the character of Jordan was very much more than just their gender identity. I do like the kind of rivalry that they have with Marie. Rightfully so, I'm kind of on Jordan's side on that, even if I like Marie. But I also like the fact that the two of them seem like they also can be friends. I do hope they become friends, but before that can happen, I do think that Marie needs to admit to the world that it was Jordan who actually held off Golden Boy. And that's my review. So far, this series, in my opinion, is very, very good. Of course, my opinion, you can disagree with all of that. And that's it. Like always, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!